Hi, friends. It's Miss Allie, and you know I'm super excited. I'm excited because it's writing time. So we get to start writing today. Friends, our learning target for today says, I can create a middle for my story. We already learned what a middle was. Do you remember earlier this week when we had reading? We learned about the plot. We talked about the plot as what happens in the story. Last week, we talked about the beginning of the story. That's where we met the characters, the setting, and we're maybe introduced to the problem. Now we're talking about the middle of the story. This comes next, after the beginning. This is when we learn more about the problem. We learn more about the problem. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to write middles for our fiction stories. So the directions for today are to draw what happens in the middle of your story. Then we are going to write 3 or more sentences describing what happens in the middle of the story. Remember, usually in the middle, we meet any last supporting characters if they haven't been introduced yet, and we learn about the problem. So if you haven't talked about your problem yet, here is where you are going to do that in the middle of the story. Friends, you are going to get a chance to watch me as I write the middle of my story. All right, friends, so now it is my turn to write the middle of my story. I have my writing journal and my pencil, and I'm ready to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is flip to my story where I wrote about my characters and setting. I'm just going to remind myself. I'm writing about Taro, Jay, and Squeak. Taro is curious. She always loves exploring. Jay is a bird who likes to talk a lot. He is very noisy. Squeak is very sneaky. You don't even know he is coming. And they're at the beach. I remember they take a trip to the beach. They visit Ocean City, Maryland. It was a hot summer day. This is my setting. So I've written about my characters, I've written about my setting, and I've written the beginning of my story. Let's review what I wrote last week. I wrote, it was a hot, sunny day last summer. Taro, the curious cat, Jay, the noisy bird, and Squeak, the sneaky mouse, went to the beach. Tara was exploring the water when she got really wet. Cats hate being wet. So I've got a good start to my story. My beginning is great. I've introduced my main character, Taro, and the supporting characters, Jay and Squeak. I've talked about the setting. It's a hot, sunny day last summer. They went to the beach, and I introduced the problem. Taro got really wet. I said cats hate being wet. That's the problem. So now I'm going to flip to the next clean page. I'm going to write the date in the top right corner. If you're using your writing packet, great. It's a page that says middle plot. If you're not, you can use a writing journal, just like Miss Allie. The date today, oh, it's a new month. It's April. So it is 4-1-2021 because it is a new month. I'm going to leave a box here so I can draw the picture for my middle. I'm going to start to think what the middle of my story can be. So where we last ended, we said cats hate being wet. She got really wet, so now I have to work on solving that problem. I got to think about what's going to happen next. So I know my cat. And Taro is whiny. She meows a lot. So I'm going to write that. I'm going to say, Taro started crying. She was so sad. Let's write that. Taro. I know how to spell Taro now. Uppercase T because it's her name. Taro started. There's a blend. R-A-R. Started. Taro started crying. Crying because she didn't she didn't know. Oh, this isn't no like no, don't do that. This is no, like what you know in your brain. So this word is K-N-O-W. No. K-N-O-W. No. K-N-O-W. No. K-N-O-W. No. I want to make sure I remember that. Taro started crying because she didn't know what sight word to sight word do sight word. Tara started crying because she didn't know what to do. I remember the directions told me to write at least 3 sentences. 3 sentences or more. And I already have one. Tara started crying because she didn't know what to do. Now, I haven't really talked about her friends, the supporting characters, Jay and Squeak. So I'm going to think. Jay likes to talk a lot, so I bet Jay has an idea. Let's see, what could Jay help Taro do to dry off? I have an idea. Jay is a bird, so he's got big wings. I bet if he flaps his wings, that'll dry Taro off. I bet that's Jay's idea. So I'm going to write that. Jay came up with an idea. He started flapping his wings so Taro would dry off. Let's write that. Jay, uppercase J because it's his name, J-A had an idea. Jay had an idea. Exclamation point. He, new sentence, so it begins with an uppercase. He started. I already wrote started. He started flapping. Flap. Double P. Flapping. His is wings. Wings. So that sight word. Taro would. What is tricky? What is the sight word? W-O-U-L-D. Let's do it together. Would. W-O-U-L-D. Would. W-O-U-L-D. Would. W-O-U-L-D. Would. He started flapping his wings so that Tara would dry. There's a blend. D-R. Dry. Would dry off. Off. That's of. That's off. He started flapping his wings so that Taro would dry off. I don't think it worked though. In my story, I don't think that worked. I think Taro would get cold. That would just make Taro cold. I'm going to write that. But then Taro got cold. New sentence. But then sight word, but then Taro, uppercase T, Taro got got cold, old. But then Taro got cold. Now, I'm going to say they're starting to get frustrated because Taro doesn't know how to dry off. I'm going to write that. I'm going to say Taro got frustrated because she didn't know how to get dry. Uppercase T, Taro. Taro got frustrated. That's a hard word. Got oh, there's a blend. Oh, another blend. Frustrated. Tid. Taro got frustrated. Exclamation point. She, uppercase S, she didn't, she didn't know, oh, we already wrote didn't know. She didn't know how to dry off. She didn't know how to dry off. I'm going to say she was ready to give up. That's how frustrated she was. She was ready to give up. Uppercase H. She was ready, ed, E, Y at the end of a word, to give up. She was ready to go. This is a good middle. This is a good middle of my story because the problem's still happening. We're trying to solve the problem, but it's still going on. I'm juicing it up. I'm making my story more interesting. So I have my beginning, I have my middle. The directions said I needed 3 sentences and a picture. I haven't added my picture yet, so I still need to do that. Let's read my sentences. So let's count them to see how many we have. Tara started crying because she didn't know what to do. 1, Jay had an idea. 2, he started flapping his wings so that Tara would dry off. 3, but then Tara got cold. 4, Tara got frustrated. 5, she didn't know how to dry off. 6, she was ready to give up. 7, oof, I wrote 7 sentences, so my middle is even better. I added lots of juicy details. I'm really telling what's going on in my story. Now I need to draw a picture to add what's going on in my story. So I'm going to draw Jay the bird. How did I draw Jay the bird? Oh, right, that's right. I drew him like this. Here's Jay the bird. Here's Tara the cat, and I'm going to draw her frustrated. So she has a frowny face, and her eyebrows are down like that. Because she looks mad, and she's all wet. How can we draw her wet? I'm going to draw some fur sticking out. And Jay is flapping his wings. I'm going to draw some arrows up and down to show the flapping of the wings. Some movement marks. Because he's trying to dry her off. But Taro's mad and she's cold. So I'm going to have her sing, brr. I'm going to give her a little speech bubble here. Brr. I'm cold. I think that's pretty good. I'm showing the middle of my story. Jay the bird flapping his wings to dry off Taro, and Taro is cold. Awesome, friends. Now it is your time to get started writing. So you are going to make sure you are adding on to your problem, adding on to your story, thinking of what happens next in your story. All right, friends, and now it is your turn. So you are going to get your writing packet if you're using it. If not, you can get your writing journal, and you're going to look back to the characters and setting you chose and the middle you wrote, and you are going to add on to the same story. You are going to write the middle of your story. I can't wait to see what you wrote, friends. Until next time, bye-bye.